I'm Kira858, and we're back for our semi-brand new campaign, Reclamation Season 1, Episode 18. We're glad to have you with us as we continue the story of House Chiron. We're going to jump into the session, but first let's introduce the cast, have to say who they are, who they're playing, and any projects they're working on. I think we're gonna go a little old school. We'll start going our official method, not official, but our original way. Adrian, you like to talk about yourself, who you're playing, and projects you working on.
Sure thing. Hey everybody, I'm Adrian, and I am playing Jethrin Cloudpaw, the Leland Paladin, who is hopefully getting married soon. And you can find me on the socials at the Adrian Bear, or if you want to find me storytelling, over at the Bear Pin as well. Blood in the Bayou Season 3 is up and running at this point, so make sure to check that out. 2 p.m. on Sundays Pacific, and yeah, super excited. We're gonna have a dope episode today.
Ooh, perfect. Next, we have the wonderful Reeve. Like to talk about yourself, who you're playing, and projects you're working on.
Hello, everybody. Well, you can find me all over the internet at Reroll at Big Dude Re, and you can find me on Twitch at Rerolls, where I run a few different games over there. But tonight I shall be playing Kashad Chiron, the head of this house, and we are going to try and guide our family to fame and fortune and power, justice, maybe in that order.
I think I like where the priority was. It was fame and fortune, power, and then justice.
All the same thing. They're all the same thing.
All the same thing. Next, we have the wonderful Ari. Would like to talk about yourself, who you're playing, and projects you're working on.
Hi, my name is Ari. I am playing Shay, who is totally not about to get his butt handed to him this episode. It's fine. You can find me here. I play in a couple campaigns here. You can find me over on Reroll's channel. I play in a couple of campaigns over there. And you can find me over on the Bear Pen, where I am a player and storyteller. Project-wise, got a couple things coming up that are still in the frying pan right now, but we'll see soon. Feel free to follow me at Small Shadow Snack for possum goodness.
Possum goodness? Who's your favorite possum?
All of them. It's all of them.
Perfect. Next, we have our wonderful DM, Zach. You'd like to talk about yourself, who you're playing, and projects you're working on.
Absolutely. I will be playing the Arbiter of Justice tonight, and naturally, as last week, as this week, as every week, my name is Di. You can find me on Twitter at DiChromaniac, where I tweet all of my nonsense into the ether.
And of course, we have the wonderful Red. If you'd like to talk about yourself, who you're playing, and projects you're working on.
Hello, my name is Rin. I play Timmons, best butler, and also very excited to be back. I heard that a lot happened in my absence, butler. You can find me around a little bit. Normally I DM Rivenwood, but right now we're taking a break to do Parts Unknown, which is a weird hybrid space fantasy kind of interesting thing. We've had a lot of fun trying to kill our players so far. And I play a whole bunch of games around, even though right now I don't get to play as many as I'd like, but I'm very excited for a bunch of future projects that I hope come up at some point and get out of my brain.
Ooh, all right. Perfect. And as for yours truly, I'm Kira858. I play the Sweet Bean, Abrea, who accidentally broke the bed by summoning a rhinoceros right in their bedroom to create their new version, the Animal Battalion. You can find all of our content listed here at the Cookout TTRPGs, as well as our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Kira858. We've just recently announced a brand new campaign called Marvel's The New Vanguard. We hope you enjoyed that content. We'll be using the brand new Marvel TTRPG Multiverse playtest book. So definitely keep an eye out for that. And there's also going to be, we got Parts Unknown that you should be seeing coming out pretty soon. So keep an eye out on all of our stuff on Twitter at TheKara858, as well as the Cookout TTRPGs. And so with that, I think it's about time we transition to our wonderful DM, Zach. Zach, take it away.
Is it my network that's going weird?
Perhaps.
Okay.
Everyone looks blue for me.
Hold on. Beg the internet to stabilize. The power. Okay. So.
Oh, we have solar flares happening right now, so that could be causing issues.
So last we left off, yes, exactly. Prayers to the internet gods. So last we left off, I believe the party was headed in two different directions. And we had one group that had left to go view the metal printing machines that you all had seen. Was there anything with that group that you all wanted to make sure is handled in that scene or in the aftermath before we switch over?
I think we handled it already.
Nah, I was pretty satisfied.
I have
Okay,
something I'm interested in finding out more about, but I don't want to do it publicly.
You can DM me, and if we need to, we can have a scene where everyone else takes off their headphones, depending on how that's going, because you have not had the opportunity to react to your new circumstances much at all. So just DM me and we'll work it out. But with the other group not having anything that they want to handle at the moment, we're going to switch over to you, Shay.
We are hunting for siblings.
How are you going about doing this? You're a stranger in a strange land. You have limited contacts and resources at your disposal. So how would you like to go about this process? How are you handling this situation?
I feel like he knows his siblings pretty well, so he'll try and find areas where that's that's somewhere where they could possibly be. Look here, it's what he's got working on.
You're doing what? I was just distracted by DMs. One more time really quick. You have my undivided attention.
In this episode, Zach will catch hands, but it's fine. No, he knows his siblings fairly well, so he's going to go look to see if there's any place familiar that either one of them would frequent.
You are unfamiliar with the area that you find yourself in. So do I take it that your current plan is to wander the streets and look for areas that you feel like might jump out to you?
Pretty much.
All right, roll me an insight check with advantage, please.
Oh, okay, cool. Yay. 23.
And you intended to do this without communicating with any of the locals?
With Shay's charisma score being what it is, he would not think to do so. Now, Abrea's with him, so if Abrea did it.
Well, Abrea is looking. What?
Oh, I was going to say, an excellent question. In what way are you going to aid this investigation?
So Abrea was trying to allow Shay to take the lead, because Abrea was just originally just going to pull out their book and to just ask them, like, hey, do you know where they're at currently in the city, and see, or if there's a way they could be able to track them that route. But they don't want to step in Shay's toes, because Shay's unless Shay was to ask, because Shay wanted to take the lead for this endeavor. So but Abrea does take out the book and just ask to their partner in crime, like, hey, we're currently at Justicar. We're looking for Shay's siblings. Do you know where they are?
the response says, why, yes, of course I do. They are wherever my honor guard is.
Oh, where is your honor guard?
There is a pause for a moment, and then they write back, unfortunately, I have no idea.
They chuckle a little bit from that statement and just like, oh, okay. Is there any way I can like sense them since we're in the same city?
They write back, well, I don't know. I guess I'm not intimately familiar with every power you might have at your disposal, but ... I have limited ability to interact with your plane. ... And what power I did have, I've utilized to help you previously.
Oh, worries. Can you put like a picture of what they look like?
The response is, oh goodness, oh my, oh geez. You know, I'm really not the best artist, but I suppose I could give it a shot, and I will roll. So you watch as the page begins to line by line. You kind of watch this picture as it comes into existence. Yes, sort of a crime sketch of sorts. And as it comes into being, what you see is a young woman with short cropped red hair that is burning up in spikes, essentially.
Ooh.
That may or may not remind you of a certain series, those of you who perhaps you have an image called to mind by that. She has like relatively like soft eyes, but the rest of her features are cut very harshly. And so you see the picture of this individual, and you think you would remember it if you saw them again, but it also doesn't really look like anything you've seen on the human plane before. Like, most people don't walk around with flaming hair, so
Abrea eyes widen drastically when they see the image displayed before them. They write back, This is so good. You're incredible. Why do you think you haven't drawn before? This is fantastic.
Oh, I don't know. I guess you pick up a thing here or there. In a few, well, I've been around a while.
Wow, what?
And then there's like a ... and then it's like, you're bound to get lucky once in a while, which means they rolled a 19 on the original check. So
It's perfect. So Brea smiles like, this is perfect. Thank you. I should be able to find them from here. It says, okay, and there's a lot we have to talk about, but some good news, some bad news, but also some good news. I'll tell you about it later tonight.
Yes, that sounds good. ... Listen, I really have to go. I'm in the middle of a battle at the moment, so ... Yes, take care of yourself, please. ...
Wait, what? Okay, and they their eyes widen from the information, just like, how do I get to the Feywild from here? And so they're already thinking like how they can teleport, and they're like, okay, the only place I can get there is the mine, which is super far away from here. So that is not an option. So they look towards Shay. It's like, Shay, I have what the honor guard looks like. and they'll show a picture of what their patron sent.
Okay. Well, I don't see anybody like that yet.
We could keep an eye out.
They didn't just happen to tell you what they were doing.
No, they just said, well, right now they're in the middle of a battle, so they're really busy right now. So I'm really happy that they spent time to actually tell me about this. That means I'm really important to them. If they actually spend time for battle to talk to me. Ooh, wow, I just thought about that. They took time from in middle of combat to draw a picture for me. Wow, they're so nice.
Exceedingly kind.
Yeah. Okay, let's find the honor guard. And then they just start walking forward with their arms swinging like newfound confidence and happiness.
So with that insight check, you are able to, over the span of about an hour or so, you locate the general quarter of the city that you think your siblings would have chosen to, reside in if they were going to get an inn or something like that. Mm-hmm. Something that matches the kind of like, not opulent, because you don't really come from like a noble or high class merchant background or anything, just the more normal, average, everyday folk that, would be kind and generous generally. And your sister, and she would also want to be in an area where folk are a little bit more soft-hearted, so that she could try to railroad them with violence when necessary. So you find that it's kind of like what you would expect of like city folk, but more the kind of city folk who like raise chickens in their backyard. You know what I mean?
All right, this should be about the area. Now we just gotta find them.
You also recognize that like searching through this entire quarter of the city could take hours, if not days, to do properly.
I recall the book. So when we're closer towards that area, I'd be like, I'll see if I can start like trying to locate them. And they're going to cast locate object on the tome that Shia wears. Shia has on their side.
Interesting. You have seen it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And locate object, if I recall correctly, is within 1,000 feet, right?
Yes.
Where are you standing when you do this? Just kind of like in the middle of the street, seeing how you can stretch it in multiple directions around you, or do you want to pick like a particular area of the quarter? Like, do you want to start from what you can figure is literally the middle, or start from one of the edges? I guess I just like, where are you wanting to be in terms of the larger area as a whole when you first cast this?
I think closer to the building structure that they were saying, like you were mentioning the inn, the residence that they would stay at, right? Probably closer towards that building.
So you're gonna look for an inn.
Yes. I thought or something along those lines that perhaps they would be staying at.
Yeah, you have not found an inn yet. You've just found the kind of area that Shay, knowing their brother and sister, believes they would have picked. So you would have to go around looking. So my understanding is you want to go find an inn and then cast it around one of the inns to see if they're maybe in the inn or something.
Yes, and then start working my way around, because I'm presuming. What time is it right now?
So you all left after dinner, but he had explicitly said it was going to be a late dinner. Mm-hmm. So it's more like 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Say 8 o'clock was when you were finished eating. 8:15 maybe, by the time you kind of like got prepared and talked about a strategy, said your goodbyes and stuff. And then it took you an hour to kind of find the right quarter. So it's probably like 9:15ish, 9:30ish.
Perfect. Yeah, it definitely would
by
be
your estimate.
Perfect. Yeah, definitely would like an inn would probably be like their first bet, just because it's later at night, so maybe they might be sleeping or something close by. So
Okay. Are you going to try to walk around and locate the inn on your own, or are you going to stop and ask one of the townsfolk?
oh, Brea would ask. Yeah, Brea. Go issue.
As described, you see a young woman. She's probably like a little bit older than you, maybe like you'd estimate like 16 or 18. It's not someone who you would like necessarily be like, oh, that's an adult, but like they're old. That kid's older than me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And she's on like a back porch that's fenced in. So there's like a little small raised porch area, and then it's fenced in, and you can see a chicken coop in the back. And right now, some of the chickens have come out of the coop, and she's throwing some feed down to them from the porch.
Oh,
That's the first person you find.
okay. Abrea will look over to Shay and say, "Is it alright if I ask her where the inn is at, so we can try the inn first?"
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll leave the talking to you.
Okay. and they'll make their way over to the young lady, and they'll say, "Hi, oh wow, those are nice chickens." And then kind of look down, probably listen to what they're saying for a bit before looking back up at her, and say, "Do you know where if there's like an inn somewhere around here close by?"
So when you listen to the chickens for a moment, hear what they're saying, you hear, "Ah, those are my seeds. Ah, no, get out of my way. Ah," and you watch as like the heads are kind of like ducking in and around each other, trying to get to the little seeds, and then you hear like a louder kind of like, "Ah, make some room for the younglings." Ah! And that's the general kind of chatter they hear from the chickens. And as you speak, she's like surprised a little bit. You gather that your natural average stealth has kind of snuck up on her a little bit.
Oh yeah.
While she's like, involved in this task, making sure to spread out the feed so all the different chickens can get to it. And she looks, I'm sorry, an inn? You shouldn't probably be walking around alone. Where are your parents? Is that?
Yeah. And they look because they have similar features. You're like, well, I mean, he's not really my parent, but wow, I just realized we
Like
do kind of look alike.
Cousin or something.
Yeah, kind of like a cousin. He looks out after me. But yeah, so I'm safe, and I have a big dinosaur. So if worst comes to worst, my dinosaur will help me out. But it's okay. Oh,
Did you take No Name yet with you?
oh no, I don't think. I think we would have left No Name yet inside the infrastructure,
Okay.
because them walking around the street may have been a little chaotic. Go ahead.
At the mention of No Name Yet being brought up to some random stranger, Shay just face palms.
Right. Yeah. You can kind of like, your passive perception is pretty good, right? Like 18 or 19 or something.
Yes.
So you gather her muttering under her breath, which would be outside of the range of earshot of like most normal humans, but you have better than average perception. You hear like, dinosaur must be some kind of an imaginary friend or something. Okay. Yeah, no, the inn is just down the way. Well, I guess I don't know which one you're looking for, but the closest one is a small inn, probably fits, I don't know, like maybe 8 rooms or something. Just down the way, you're about maybe 2 city streets straight the way you're going, and then one over to the right.
Okay. Wow. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Here, and then they'll take out. I know they got some gold on the side. How much gold they carry? They'll take out gold and give it to her. Like, here you go. Thank you for the information. I think this is how it works, right? This is how it works. I give her gold.
No, I'm sorry. That's far too much money.
Well, it's fine. I mean, yeah. It looks to her shade like, I'm supposed to do this, right? This is what I'm supposed to do. I give for.
I mean, if she refuses, it's a little unpolite to keep to make her take it. Maybe a a couple silvers is better, because a gold is like a lot.
And they'll go into their bag and bring out like 3 silvers. Like, here, I just want to say thank you. Or would you like some good berries? I make good berries.
Oh, well, sure. I accept. This is slightly more reasonable. Thank you. What is a good berry?
Oh, you're going to love it. And then they go ahead. You just see the nature runes just appear around their hands. And then suddenly these berries just manifest from their palms as 10 berries are in a row, like in a cup of their hand. And they grab one and give it to her. Like, will you eat this? This will make you full for the entire day. And they're delicious.
She kind of takes it and looks at it strangely. And she's like, I don't see how this would feed anyone for an entire day. Probably not even a chicken. And she kind of looks down at the chickens a little bit, looks back at it. But you see she kind of puts it into like a little side pocket on her dress and is like, thank you. I just had supper recently, but I'll try it later.
Okay. All right, well, thank you again. And the chickens are pretty behaved. They're trying to make things available for the young ones. So you have some good chickens with you. And they kind of turn around and head back to Shay.
as you're walking away, you just hear a, what? And then you make it back over to Shay.
So he's like, okay, they said the inn is down that way 2 blocks down.
Oh, okay. Okay, let's go there. I don't want to stay out too late, so if we can't find them tonight, we'll try something else tomorrow.
Okay, that's no worries. And yeah, I guess we'll make our way over to the area.
All right, go ahead and give me one of those spell slots. Mark it off.
Perfect.
Okay. You cast locate object, but you do not detect. The object within the 1,000 feet radius around you currently. Even though you're standing right next to the inn that you were directed to.
Okay, so I don't sense them just yet, but it goes for about 10 minutes, so we can start walking and see if we can find them. Which way do you want to go?
He's gonna look around and see if he can find, like, what seems to be the area another inn might be. There looks to be signs of another inn nearby.
So that's like really hard to tell until you see like one of the hanging signs or like a signpost that someone's put up. The city planning is like rudimentary, and businesses and land changes hands and all of that kind of stuff. So they don't really do a lot of that, like what you might expect from like a modern city. So it's really hard to tell. You would need to, I don't want to give everything away to you, but you think you would need a different perspective to try to sense something like that without just kind of walking around.
The shake. What?
Let's go this way.
Okay. Well, what were you thinking? What was your idea? You have any ideas?
Just to look for another inn. I don't exactly have anything that's currently gonna help me.
Oh, well, let me try something. And then they're going to cast Wild Companion. It generates an owl, and just kind of appears on their shoulders. Like, can you help see if there's like an inn somewhere close by? And they'll kind of they'll point towards the inn that's currently in front of them and point towards the letters that's there and see like that says INN. So if you see another building that has those letters, can you see that? Does it make sense?
Shay, you hear squawk, squawk, and Abrea, you hear what are letters?
Those pictures. You see those pictures there? It looks like a picture like this, a picture like this, and then a picture like this. And they'll actually go to the end sign and then point out the 3 pictures that's listed there.
Give me an animal handling check.
Ooh, okay. Perfect. Oh, nice. Synthetic 20.
Synthetic 20, that's
Yes.
a new one. I've not heard that one before. I guess it's slightly more appropriate than dirty 20. So that's fair. Okay. The hawk just goes, okay, squawk, and then they take off into the air. How long are you gonna wait for them to kind of scout things out and come back?
They'll look towards Shay. It's like, do you want to keep walking while they're looking, or do you want to stay here?
We can go a little bit down here. And he's gonna like look in his shirt to Barry's and be like, is there anything that you can do to assist?
You feel being transmitted across the familiar link. You see a picture of yourself, and you sense confusion with yourself. So Barry's transmitting mentally a picture of you along with confusion.
I have no idea what that means. Are you confused with me, or are you telling me that I am confused? This is a lot of sass from someone your size.
Wait, are you saying this out in open or in a mental link?
You get the same link again.
Why are you confused? I should be the one confused.
Is everything okay?
You watch as Barry's recognizing only the help portion of what you've asked as you are walking. They fire an eldritch blast at the inn sign as you're walking by it, and it just goes bing, and you see it kind of like flips and rotates around itself, and seemingly not stopping for the moment, just travels around and around in a loop.
I was asking if you could help me find my siblings, if you had anything inside your tiny furry body to help me find my siblings. Why are you doing that in public?
Barry's jumps out of your pocket, climbs up your shoulder, and then takes off. Just glides over to the inn.
Is everything okay?
I don't know what's going on with him.
And then Barry starts climbing the inn.
No, come back here.
Oh,
Can you try to mage hand grab him?
Barry's is pretty light, so sure.
Luck.
Oh, you didn't ask him to do that. Okay.
You get screeching in your face as he's pulled back.
I don't get what that means.
You see transmitted into your head a picture of Shia and Rihanna.
But Abrea did the thing. They're not here.
You just get the same picture and determination.
Abrea, can you talk to him?
Sure. And they'll go walk over to Barry. It's like, what's wrong? What's going on?
Shay is being confusing. I am supposed to help, but how can I help without looking from above?
Oh, that makes sense. You want to fly like my own. And they'll look over to Shay and says, "Oh, they just want to fly and try to get a viewpoint from over the city."
Mage Hand puts him back on the building.
As he gets back on there, he just starts crawling away again, and you watch as he kind of deftly maneuvers himself up onto the top of the building, and then gets climbing up to the kind of peak in the roof.
If he gets eaten by an alley cat, I'm going to scream.
Wait, no, he shouldn't get. There's no cat that's going to take out berries. Did you see what happened to that sign? That sign almost flew off the hinges.
Oh, this is stress I don't need today.
Would you like a good berry?
No, I just want to find them, make sure they're safe, so I can tell my mom so she'll stop being mad at me, and figure out why they decided to leave without fully telling anybody where they were going.
Why is your mom mad at you?
Because I'm the older sibling, and I didn't tell her, evidently, that Shia was a warlock. I thought I left that in a letter, but evidently she didn't read it.
Oh. I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's another thing I've got going on today.
As you guys are talking, you watch as Barry climbs to the peak of the thing, walks the peak over to the edge of the building, and then glides over to the next building.
Wow.
No, I gotta keep up with him. I don't want him to get eaten by like an owl or something.
Okay.
He's gonna jog after
Wait.
berries.
Well, my owl is on the lookout, so if they see another owl, maybe they can stop him. But they're like, while they're jogging after.
As you guys follow along, this process kind of repeats. Every once in a while, you see like a person that notices the light tapping sound of berries kind of landing against their wall as he climbs up to the next roof. Since not everything is the same size, sometimes he's got to glide down and grab onto like the boarding and then climb back up to the next roof. So you see some puzzled looks. But over the next 15 minutes, you find another inn with the help of the owl, and Barry's like trying to help, but he's not really helping too much, to be honest, at the moment. Unfortunately, your locate object has expired by that point. Do you want to cast it again?
Yes, I could do it 2 more times. So I'll go ahead and be like, oh, another ant. I can try casting it again.
Yeah, it's getting late, so this will probably be the last one we do, unless there's another one within like a few moments walk.
Okay. 1 second. And then they'll go ahead and cast locate object.
You feel a slight sense of relief as the locate object pings. I think you get like a distance.
Yes, it tells me. My apologies, I have the spell listed here. Boop. You can sense the direction to the object's location as long as the object is within 1,000 feet. If the object is in motion, you know the direction of the movement.
So you know it's up a floor from you.
Mm-hmm.
It's inside the inn and up a floor in one of the rooms up top.
Yay, they're here. They're on the 2nd floor.
Oh, thank heavens. All right.
You want me to lead the way?
Yeah.
Okay. And they'll enter inside the inn. Like, hi, we're just going to meet someone. Oh, wait, how do we do this normally? I don't normally do this.
Let's just ask the barkeep if they're there.
Okay.
Just say we're looking for family that's in town.
Family that's in town. Okay. And they'll make their way over to the barkeep. As they make their way over to the barkeep, they see the individual. If there's individuals sitting on the stool, they kind of like try to like copy their movement by like hopping on top of them, on top of the bar stool. Look to the side. Okay, they got some beverages, and they'll slide over 2 silver coins. Like, apple juice, please.
The barkeep looks you over for a moment and goes, "Apple juice it is." And they're gone for about a minute and a half, and you see them come back with a little jug. They kind of put a cup on top of it, pour some into the cup from the jug, and pass it over to you.
Thank you.
I'll keep this handy. You look like you could drink a lot of apple juice. And
Oh.
they kind of set it down behind the counter.
You have no idea. We're also looking for some family members here. That's okay, right? They should be upstairs. We have family here.
I guess.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll be right back.
Oh, okay. Hey, be careful with those glasses.
Oh, I don't worry. I'll grip it with 2 hands. I promise.
I'll make sure they don't drop it.
It's 3 coppers if you break one.
Oh, well, just in case, and they'll slide over another silver.
Good enough.
I can't.
See them pocket the silvers. And
All right, so 3 more silvers. So that's 6 silvers total. Okay. He's like, okay, follow me, and then head up the stairs to try to locate where the ping is.
okay. You locate it to a room. That is, you come up. There's like in this end, there's like 6 rooms on each side, so 12 rooms total.
Okay.
And it's the room on the left as you come up, and all the way to the back. So
Okay.
as far as you can get away from the entrance, and then on the left.
Okay. So as they continue to detect the radar, like a metal detector, they'll keep moving until they sense the sensation being behind the farm room on the left-hand side. It's like, okay, they're right here.
All right, he's gonna knock on the door.
The answer comes back pretty quickly, and you just hear, "Who is it?"
Does it sound like one of them?
You probably know the voice of your own brother. Yeah, it sounds like Shia.
Shia Strode, if you do not open this door, I am going to break it down.
I wouldn't do that. The doors cost 5 gold. And
I'll be
you watch
more than happy
as,
to pay it.
as Shia opens the door, and the first thing you notice about them, what color was their hair?
Black. Both of the twins have black hair.
So Shia's hair is a little bit longer, kind of getting scraggly, falling down the sides of his cheekbones a little bit, and through the dark hair is red streaks.
Ooh.
Like someone's taken it and dyed it like every inch or so, just kind of coming down in streaks. It's not chopped, it looks pretty scraggly, like it's just been growing out for a while.
I hope you are well. Is Rhea here?
No, she went out.
I mean, she went out.
I don't know. I didn't really ask too many questions. She's kind of bossy. Don't tell her I said that.
Oh, I'm so telling her you said that. Is your little friend here too?
Who?
I'm assuming you did not wander all this way by yourself.
Oh, no, of course not. We went with Mistrana.
Is she here?
No.
Where'd she go with Rhea?
She's with Reed. Duh. It's been more dangerous out in the street than it is in our room. You're silly.
Well, you guys, left a note for Mom and left, and she got mad at me.
Yeah, we had stuff to do.
What stuff? You couldn't have, told her?
We did tell her. You said about the note yourself.
The note had absolutely nothing of what you guys are up to. What are you guys even doing down in Justicar? I thought the
Well-
deal we had with them was that they were supposed to train you in the cave.
Well, I guess the training needed to leave the cave this time around. there's certain stuff you can't get inside that cave, you know?
No, I don't know. Because I'm not a warlock.
You see Shia looks at you completely puzzled. And he's like, I mean, you must know that there are only so many different materials that can be obtained in a cave. Like, it's just ludicrous to not believe that there are things you can't get inside a cave.
So you're component gathering, is that what you're doing?
Not exactly.
Well, what are you doing?
Let's call it component gathering.
Shia, I swear. I just want to make sure you're okay. Oh, by the way, Mom's in town.
Hey, look, I'm okay. Ree and Mistrana will probably be back in like an hour or so. And then you can see that she's okay too. And then you can just go tell Mom that we're fine, because that's what you care about, right?
Well, no, I actually care about your safety.
Well, yeah, I'm
And
fine.
What the heck are you doing with some weird lady?
He kind of grimaces and he's like, collecting components.
Shia, what are you doing?
You're being really bossy, and I don't like it. You're reminding me a lot of Ree right now.
Well, maybe it's because I'm actually worried about you. I don't know what these people are doing.
Well, what do you mean?
Why you had to leave? Come all the way down here.
Well, they didn't do anything to me. We have a task, and we had to go to do it.
I give. I give today.
Brea will like gently place their hand on Shay's like lower back area. It's like, it'll be okay.
No, it won't. These was not the deal. They were supposed to be taught magic and come home, not leave and go somewhere else.
Oh. Well, I get it. If the deal changes, it kind of like, well, what happened to the deal? I get that. Well, how about to make things smoother? When they have like new deals that come up, I could ask them if they can let me know, so therefore it will help your worries. Would that work?
A little, but I don't know what they're doing here. Why did you have to come to Justicar?
Look, you said that you just want to see that we're safe, so you can see that we're safe, and then you can tell Mom that, and everything will be fine.
No, because I don't trust that you're safe with her.
Well, why not?
Because she's lied to me once.
Well, what does that mean?
She lied? What did she lie?
They lied because you were supposed to be studying magic in the cave and coming home every night.
Oh,
Yeah, about that. I mean, what's the time limit that you set on the deal that you made with them?
It was supposed to be every night. That's why the dog was supposed to go home with you. So as far as
Right,
I'm
but-
concerned, you're with a liar.
But what was the timeline that you set on that every night?
It was supposed to be every night. You left the cave with the dog, went home. The dog took you back to the cave the next morning. That was the deal.
Right, but if you make a deal with a duration that's unknown, then if it's every night for one night, then you fulfill the terms of the agreement.
I'm waiting here until she gets back.
I don't think that's a very good idea.
I don't care.
Okay. Shy just goes quiet.
Oh, wow, this seems so familiar. Um, so, uh, this, we can work better with this, right?
He looks towards Shy as like,
Look, I get exactly what you mean. Cause we're in the same boat. He's a really nice guy. They're really nice people. But seems like you know our family, you know, it's runs into complications. But I'm starting to try to bring my family into the fold, and they said they're going to be more open to talking with them, and then we all can sit at a table and just have a good time. And it seemed to like ease their fears a bit. So maybe if we try to bring in Shay a bit more into this, it might help Shay a bit too.
What do you mean, bring him in?
Well, I mean, like, so like, you remember Jethram, the big,
The big lion guy?
Yes, Jethram
Yeah.
was to meet our friend. And so I was like, okay. And I was going to schedule something up, and by doing that, Jethro felt a lot better that we're friends. And so I think Shay is like on the same way. Like if we bring Shay in on what we do and our friends from where they come from, I feel like Shay may feel better about what's happening.
Well, there's gonna be trouble if Shay is acting towards Mastrana like he's acting towards me. And I'm not looking forward to it.
Trouble? What do you mean?
Well, he's being all like mean and stuff, and I just tried to explain it, and he already said that she's a liar, so how are we supposed to explain anything? We're safe. We're fine. Do I look injured? He kind of like does a little twirl.
Oh, I trust you. I know that they're great people, because they are. They understand us kids. I'll be honest, I feel like they understand us kids more than almost anyone else I've met. So I get it. But I feel like if the least we can do is try to bridge the gap between our family and them, and then everyone's happy.
I get that. I just don't understand how to bridge the gap.
Shay, what would help you feel better?
I'd like to know what they're doing, not just randomly out and about.
Getting components, right?
They're not getting components.
Oh, you're not?
Kinda. Technically. Sort of.
Well, I'm confused. What the? So I guess that means he's getting components? But yeah, you know, we just gotta make sure everyone's okay with this, and then we be good.
Listen. I'll tell you what we're doing. I'll tell you anything that you want to know. But there's a condition.
What's the condition?
I don't want any misguided attempts to draw me away from this. If I'm honest, you have to promise me, swear it, that it ends there.
If it's overly dangerous, then no. Like, if you're gonna go pester the Lich, no.
There's a lich?
That's the deal. Take it or leave it.
Fine, I won't drag you away from it.
We're going adventuring in the underwater sea temples looking for something.
The underwater temple? What? That's not a thing.
Yes, it is. We've already been once.
What are you looking for?
There's an underwater temple. Oh my god!
What are you looking for?
We're looking for the water component things, sort of.
Oh, okay. Why are you? What is this component for?
We're looking for something that can hold the anchor.
Oh, you're trying to port your patron over.
Well, I don't know about that.
Okay, makes sense. By the way, what's the closest route to get to the Feywild from here?
You are not going anywhere near there. I am taking you back to Master Kashad.
Oh, they're in the middle of a battle though. Well, maybe later.
They will be fine.
But you think so?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, the easiest way is the anchor. The portal to the plane of Earth is gone.
What happened?
We had to close it.
Why?
Some things worse than cute little dogs started to come through it. So we had to close it.
Okay, that makes sense.
So
You talking like a giant snake, a giant dog, a very angry, I don't know, 3-legged monstrosity?
More like an earth elemental that pretended to be other people and tried to moonlight as Rihanna without realizing how well I know my sister. So I killed it.
I'm very proud of you.
Oh, very nice.
Well, it wasn't that tough. It just was sneaky, I guess.
Wait, so you can't go back now? It's locked up?
Well, we can't get to their realm right now unless we find another area where the energies are resonant enough that we can kind of sneak through. But I mean, that's why we're working on the anchor.
That makes sense now. Yeah, okay. So technically, you're looking for the anchor because your way to get back to the Feywild to train is locked up. So you need to create a new way to get back to the Feywild so you can continue training. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That
So,
sucks.
so if you create this anchor, can I talk to your boss? Your teacher, your whatever.
He's not a boss, he's a friend.
I mean, it's kind of not my choice, I guess. It's sort of up to him, isn't it?
Well, why does he want the anchor? Can't just be to train one student.
Well, I don't know. I guess that's maybe a better question for Miss Chana.
I mean, if I lost access to be able to come back here, I wouldn't mind asking for someone to create an access again.
Yeah, but how do we know that's even safe?
Oh, it is.
Yeah, but like, the portal to the Earth plane let a dog in, and if we open one to wherever they are, more than just your friend could come through.
Well, if they open it from their side as well, we can control where it links up.
Yeah, but you said they were in a fight. What happens if we link it up and it's not your friend that comes through?
I didn't say they were in a fight.
Oh, I did.
He points to Abrea.
I did. I was talking to them, and they told me that they were literally in the middle of a battle right now. That's why I was trying to see what was the closest portal. I didn't know that your portal was gone. This is really bad. I mean, there's no way we can help them.
I am fairly certain they are going to be fine. If they can train you two, I'm pretty sure they can handle whatever's on their end.
Well, and they'll definitely be fine once they have the anchor, so.
Yeah, so they can bring their fight over here?
I don't think they're going to do that.
Yeah, why would they do that?
Because you guys talked to them through a book.
You're awfully worried for safety about someone who flings fire around all the time.
You see he pauses for a moment and like pulls up his sleeve to show off one of the burns on it. Yeah, I fling fire doesn't mean I can't still get hurt by it.
So you're off doing a bunch of dangerous, crazy stuff, and I'm not allowed to?
Oh, I never said you couldn't go do dangerous and crazy stuff. I'm just saying be careful when you do dangerous and crazy stuff and maybe think things through. Don't just believe what they're telling you.
That's why I'm taking Rihanna with me. Duh.
Rihanna's even more of an airhead than you are. You think you guys can't just blindly trust random people?
Rihanna's not an airhead. That's mean.
He's not an airhead either. Why would you call people bad names like that?
Just be careful and don't just blindly trust these people. If they're in a fight, if they're still in a fight, they could bring it here. And we've already got one war going on.
I mean, I understand your advice. I just think it's a little silly.
I'm just saying it's a possibility.
Well, it's like you can basically give the advice to not blindly trust anyone. And like,
Dad,
duh.
Don't blindly trust everybody, even if they are nice and give you magic books.
I'm not blindly trusting anyone, but I can't just not trust anyone. Even if I'm not blindly trusting them, I have to put my fate somewhere. Otherwise, that sounds like a pretty lonely, sad life to me.
Just please be careful and just think these things through.
I'll be careful. I'm strong, Shay.
He killed an elemental. I haven't killed an earth elemental. That's amazing.
Point of order, you have helped kill an earth elemental in the pre-campaign.
Oh, yes, we did. That's true.
Oh, sorry, never mind. I just remember I did. Well, I helped. Well, I'm glad that you all are doing okay, and it's nice to meet someone who has the same friends. Is it just Australia with you, or are there other honor guards?
Just Mistrana, but she's really tough.
Did they leave? Is there anyone else behind? Like, do they have any other friends out here we should be aware or know of?
Mom said the cave was empty when she went to check.
Oh.
Yeah, the other two guards that were with Mistrana originally had to go back because it's hard to maintain a link between the worlds. Mistrana said like she can do it because she's strong enough to embody herself here and stay, but not too strong enough that, you know, like the gods get mad without an anchor or whatever. I don't know, it's kind of complicated, but do you get what I mean? She's like middle strong. The other ones were like too weak.
Yeah, so like, oh, I see. No. That sucks. They all were really nice. It's kind of sad they couldn't stay. It's okay. I would if there's any way I can help, just let me know.
Well,
You need to run that by Master Kashad first.
do you want to come to the underwater temples with us?
No. That's your quest. No.
Wow.
You can get Master Kashad's approval to come in on another person's quest.
Okay. Well, see, you get all the fun. You actually get to go. Okay, is there any way we can talk with one another and he'll pull out the book? I want to hear all the stories that you go through because you get to see it firsthand. I just get third-party experience.
Shay's gonna sneak a look at the book just to see what it looks like. Because he's never seen one of the books.
Oh yeah.
Roll me a perception check.
$12.
It's kind of difficult to sneak a peek. It's a plain book with a gold leaf on it. You can see no writing on the inside of it, even though it talks about how they write with it and you watched them writing earlier.
Mm-hmm. I feel like Shay's under the impression that because it's a way for the patron and the person to communicate, there's probably... Shay thinks there's like an invisibility charm inside that he can't see it. Because he knows that like the Fae were invisible, so he's like, maybe they got a thing for invisibility. Hey, Shia, can you show me yours? Are they like the same book?
Huh?
Like the same color book? Does yours look like his?
Well, yeah, I guess.
Interesting.
This is so cool. We're like brothers in arms. See, it all makes us family.
I guess there is kind of technically a way that we can communicate.
Yay! How do we do it? Can you... And then this will make Shay feel better too, because then you'll be able to talk to me, and then I can let Shay know that you're safe.
So Mistrana usually has a spell that like stops people from like tracking us or communicating with us or whatever. It just kind of like blocks that type of magic. But I could see if she'll turn it off for long enough for me to send you a message every once in a while.
Okay.
I've got a spell that lets me send messages across long distances. Kind of weird because like it appears in your head like I'm like whispering into your brain or whatever, but it's pretty good for sending, like short letters or whatever.
Okay, well that works for me. Shay, does that make you feel better too?
Yes.
Thanks.
As long as you just let me know what you're doing and that you're fine. Like, I'm not asking for daily check-in. Just let me know, okay?
Okay, I can see you were very worried. I'm sorry that we worried you.
Yeah, Bomb chewed me out for it.
Well, that's not that surprising. I mean, Mom would chew you out for like wearing the wrong color shirt down to the school if she had the chance,
Wait, what?
Yeah, she's a stickler for things.
She's just kind of well, I don't mean this in a bad way because like you're not supposed to talk bad about your mom and stuff, but she's just kind of angry. She's a little bit of an angry person.
Oh.
I don't know why.
I think it's all the fire magic. And then she looks at Shay Shia looks at Shay very, very carefully.
I think when he says that, I think Abrea kind of turns too, like,
Shia, do not make me test your warlock abilities in the middle of this room.
Do you want a duel?
Not inside.
That's right. The doors are pretty expensive. Have you noticed that the innkeeper has a weird habit of telling you what everything costs?
You know, I feel like he's had one too many bar fights probably and has had to replace a lot of junk and just knows it offhand.
Oh, that makes sense.
he holds up the cup of apple juice.
Well, I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad everything is going well. Again, like I said, if you need any help, we got our own mission, but I would definitely like to see if I can help you on yours too. So,
Well, it sounds like that probably isn't going to happen. But if you can, that would be super, super awesome.
yeah. Let me see. I see what I can do. I mean, Shay is with me, and we all talk together. So maybe Shay can help with trying to convince them. Right, Shay?
I mean, yeah, why not?
Thank you so much.
But if you go on any missions, you have to run it past Master Kashad first.
Oh yeah, I know.
Okay.
I get to see my friends. I get to see my friends. Okay.
We could all go into the underwater temple. Maybe. That would be kind of fun.
I mean, yeah, that'd be kind of fun. Does this mean I get to bring Mom to the underwater temple?
But she's fire.
I don't know if
But
that's
you're
a good
fire.
idea.
How will your fire handle water?
Probably not well, but I have other things.
Oh, okay. Well, cause they call you fire here, so I'm like, I must be something.
It's just because I'm a
They
redhead.
call you fire hair?
Yeah, it's because my hair's red.
That's kind of a funny nickname.
I don't know, maybe it's also because of all the fire magic, Shia.
I guess.
Why? Something Auga said.
Oh, she's a storm giant. No, she's a giant. Well, Shay, did you still wanted to wait for Rhea Estrella, or do you wanted to head back?
I want to wait just to make sure that I, and Shia are all on the same page.
Okay. I guess while we wait, would you like a good berry?
And then he'll have one over to to Shia.
Shai kind of takes it and is like, huh, I guess I did forget to eat today. He pops it into his mouth and starts chewing on it.
You forgot to eat today?
Uh-oh. It happens. It happens to the best of us.
Oh, okay. So listen, I was studying some materials I found in one of the records about the origins of the underwater sea temples, and I just kind of got caught up. Actually, it's really fascinating. I was reading it when you got here. Actually, Abrea, do you want to come take a look?
Yeah. Let me see. I want to see.
I am literally the person who enjoys reading, and I don't get to find out?
Well, I mean, you can come look too. You seem like you maybe don't like my friends that much, so.
I don't really like them because they haven't given me a reason to trust them. But
I mean, if you look for reasons not to trust people, you'll always find one.
yeah, well, I'm just a suspicious person.
I guess. Like Aubrey is too nice. Sometimes people that are too nice, you can't trust them because they're actually only being nice for their own ends, but I trust Abrea. I don't think that they're like that.
No, Brea can't keep a secret, so I know they're nice. And he's gonna pull berries out of his shirt a little bit because he put berries back in there.
Where'd you?
Do you have another good berry?
Sure, and they'll hand
Thank you.
one over towards to Shay. We like,
Go.
How'd you learn that stuff? Who told you about that? That was
Where do you have the good berries stored?
oh, on the side. It's like, oh, next to their component pouch.
So Berries gobbles the one that Shay gives to him in one bite, and then you watch Berries glides over to you and kind of starts clinging onto your shirt.
Oh, you want what?
He just had one.
You just, how?
No, you're gonna make him gain weight.
How are you hungry? Like you just had one like 15 minutes ago.
No. Here, take a blueberry.
Isn't that worse? I mean, like a good berry at least is supposed to keep you full for like.
The gristle starts sneaking around the back of Aubre's shirt where it's harder to grab him, and starts sneaking over to the pack.
He's just if he ends up with a tummy ache, I'm just gonna I don't care.
I'll give him one, okay? Just one, and hopefully it will last longer, maybe. Okay.
And they just like kind of like take one out and like put it outside so they can smell it, like probably like right next to their shoulder, so they can climb back up and then try to eat it.
Berries jumps into the pocket that has the rest of the good berries, face first.
Oh well, yeah.
All right, Shai. What about the water temple? he's gonna have a stomach ache tonight.
Yep.
I don't. You know it's gonna be fine.
He's gonna be full for a week.
Oh right. Yeah. So there are like. So it's interesting because a lot of people talk about it as like the water temple, because there's one that people go into most commonly, but it's been explored like hundreds of times at this point, and there's like a whole map for it. So like the amount of stuff that you can actually find in there in terms of like, old artifacts or like, cool magic stuff in the main temple is pretty much non-existent unless you stumble upon like a secret area that people have never been to or whatever, right? So we went through there, but the weird, crazy thing about Justicar is they don't have this one underwater temple. They're dotted all over the seafloor around here. And no one really knows why, even though there are some ideas that maybe there was an old society where they protected against, damage. They protected only their temples. So maybe all of the other buildings got destroyed and washed away when the tides changed, and the area that used to be not covered by water became covered by water, washed away all of the other buildings and broke them apart, but the temple stayed because they were protected by magic, right? Well, as far as I can tell, there's like dozens of them down there, but most people have only explored the big main one. So our plan is to go to one of the ones that hasn't been fully explored yet. It's kind of nearby. Like if you see this map, this is one that's kind of nearby the main temple. There have been a couple expeditions in there, but it's weird because in this one, there's a section that people haven't explored too much because there's a bunch of ice creatures inside of the water temple. So you go into the water temple and you can explore two offshoots off of the main hallway, but then it actually goes up and there's an area that's like ground, I guess, that the water hasn't gotten to for some reason. And there's a bunch of ice creatures up there. And apparently they're really difficult to deal with, but Mistrana has this spell for like mating, like melting ice, kind of. So it's like supposed to be really effective against cold-based enemies. So our plan is to go and explore this one and see if we can find a magical artifact that could be used as a source for the anchor. And then if we can find some other magic stuff there too, hopefully, then those things could be sold so that we can pay for the spell to be cast to create the anchor. Then we just need to figure out how to find someone that we trust to actually make the anchor. But we'll worry about that once we actually get all the material. So yeah, here's the one we're planning to go to. And Shia starts pointing them all out. Here's all of the other temples that, you know, people know exist, but some of them, even though people have found them, remain unexplored for various different reasons.
Yep, that sounds perfectly reasonable. Okay.
Wow. Sounds like-
You know, you should have let mom come with you. You know, she's a bit of a history nerd.
Yeah, but I don't really think she's that interested in Justicarian history. I don't know. I mean, we could ask her.
Yep, yeah, I'll ask her. You know, she might like to tag along and, you know, have a good time with underwater temples, you know, and sharks and snakes and everything else that might be down there.
She's busy all the time with like other stuff.
Yeah, well, she came with me.
I guess. Mm.
No, you have fun with your underwater temple.
I will. You guys settle down, and I assume at this point just kind of continue chatting and waiting. As expected, about an hour later, Rihanna and Mistrana come back, wearing a bunch of packs of goods that they've purchased, carrying some satchels and stuff with other things inside of it. Abrea, you recognize Mistrana. That is the fae that you previously interacted with when you all were in the caves. But it doesn't look at all like the picture that was drawn for you, which is odd.
Oh. Her face is different, but they would still run up and give her a huge hug. It's like, it's good to see you again. I'm glad that you're on this site.
Hello. Yes. Me too.
Oh, wow. Is everything okay?
Yeah, everything's good. And then you hear Rihanna goes, Shay, what are you doing here?
Mind your business.
Well, doesn't seem like you're minding yours, so.
Mom had your little note. She got mad at me. I'm here. Oh, Mom's also in the city, just so you know.
She doesn't scare me.
Okay.
Hey, I'll have you know, I'm a paladin now.
You're not a paladin.
That seems like a great place to take our break.
Oh my God. I love these siblings so much. I hope you are enjoying this episode so far. If you like what you see here, make sure to join our Discord. We should see in the description section below. We have an area for spoilers, non-spoilers, and we'd love to hear your thoughts about the campaign. We'll be back for the second half of Reclamation, but until then, farewell for now.
Okay, so where we left off, Shia had been speaking with you. Rihanna and Mistrana, the Fae, had been out and about. You all were just kind of chatting a bit, and then we fast forwarded a bit to when they returned. And Rihanna has come back and declared herself to be a paladin. You see, she currently wears studded leather armor. She's carrying a small metal shield, and strapped to her waist is a longsword. But you all may remember one thing she carries that's a bit out of place compared to the rest of her gear is a small pouch of what you recognize to be darts.
Who? I think it was only Timmons that was with her when that happened, right? Or was anyone else in the room when they were training? I think it was just her and Timmons, right?
I think it was just her and Timmons because she was in a very bad mood, and everyone else was like, "We're gonna get out of here," and Timmons was like, "I can fix this."
Gotcha. Okay. Brea looks towards Shay. It's like,
Okay, they're back. Did you have any questions?
He kind of looks both of them over. You know, as long as they're fine, it's okay. And he's gonna like stand up from where he's sitting. But if they die, I'm gonna come for you. I want you to know that.
Faye just cocks her head to the side, eyes you a little bit, but doesn't say anything.
Come on, Abray, it's getting late.
Okay. It was nice seeing you all again. Have fun in the underground castle.
Yes, of course, little one. I hope you enjoy your journeys as well.
There's a lot I hope to share in the future. Yay!
and then they'll kind of, they'll look towards Anstrania and they'll say,
So I know that you're kind of stranded right now, so maybe hopefully this make you feel closer to home.
and they'll druid craft, they craft a golden flower and they'll place it on top of her hair.
Thank you, little one.
Okay. Stay safe.
And the same to you.
And they'll head over to Shay.
Like, see, that wasn't so bad, wasn't it?
Perfectly fine. Let's go.
Okay. And they make their way back.
All right. You all make your way back. Which means we will get to everyone back together here in a moment. But before that, we're going to switch to just me, Timmons, and Kira. Because Kira, you are immune due to the editing process to the headphones rule. But if everyone else could take off their headphones for the moment, we will ping you all when it's time to be back. Timmons.
I don't know if you can hear the absolute excitement in my tone, but I am vibrating in place. I'm excited.
Timmons, you are walking along the halls of this place where you've been left behind with only Shay's mother for company, who probably is only the sort that you can tolerate temporarily. You find yourself wandering these halls, and inexplicably you get one of those moments where you pause in front of a door and you feel like that door is calling out to you. And it's one of those moments that as a courtier you recognize because you encounter it more regularly than a normal person might. Like, you get a piece of information that could doom someone, and you realize you have a path forward to either doom them with this information or to save them. It's something that you have a bit of a knack for. This, while not exactly the same, is one of those moments where there's a choice in front of you, two paths, and one of them calls out to you from behind this door. In front of you, you could just keep walking and never know what the path might have been. But you recognize if you open the door, your life will quite likely be forever changed.
Yeah, I think since the cave and the gifts with the Sphinx and everything, Timmons has been drifting just a little bit in like an internal kind of sense and looking for something to anchor herself to. So when she gets like this kind of feeling of there's something momentous behind the door is something that will give you a path. I think there's very little hesitation where she's like, I could keep wondering, but I want to know what's behind this door.
You push open the door, and for a moment, all you see is Trier Dawn. Then some other details start to push in. He's sitting down. That's a bit odd. Not on a chair, just on the ground. He seems to be in some kind of a meditative stance. He's removed his weapons, even though he's still wearing his armor, and they sit in front of him instead of being attached where he normally carries the shield on his back and the hammer, the mace at his side. And wait a minute, this is a very interesting room. There are intricate colors, all the colors of the rainbow and more, prismatically drawn like rainbows that have a glossy paint so that they shine and seem as though they're wanting to almost jump off of the wall. You have the faintest sense that this is the kind of thing that likely is not purely mundane. It's probably magic of some sort. And sitting at Trier Dawn's feet, on the other side of the weapons, the area he seems to have directed his attention to is a small box made of marble, which you probably recognize to be an altar that's probably about 2 feet in length from your position and 3 feet in width, so a little bit longer. And built into that is a glowing orb that swirls with the same colors as the sparkles and the light refracts through everything on the walls. So too does the orb turn in the center. And you've come upon this scene.
Have I seen this kind of imagery before?
You have. You've seen it. You've seen it previously in the way that the knives were arrayed inside of the betrayer prison that you went to most recently.
Okay. Oh, wow.
And prior to that, you've probably seen it in terms of the Nezra's amulet. You recall that, and you also recall probably it would resonate with the dress, the manner of dress of a couple of different foreign dignitaries that you may have met previously.
Mm-hmm.
But no one that was close to you in your life back in Darkstar.
I think there's a moment where Timmons is like, am I intruding on like something too personal? Have I wandered, like, am I trespassing?
As the thought occurs to you, you're standing there for a moment and you can't be sure exactly if he's reading your mind, but certainly he has a knack, if not. And he says, "No, you may come in."
Oh, thank you. Is he wearing shoes?
No.
Okay, I'm going to toe off my shoes, like at the doorway, and make sure the door fully shuts behind me, and then I'll come up like on his right side facing the altar, and slowly kind of start to come to the ground and arrange myself in a similar way to how he's seated.
It is one thing to be young and experiencing and assimilating brand new cultures. I imagine it might be a bit of a different experience for you than for the others. Is that the case?
I think that that's probably an accurate assessment. It's not. I do try to keep an open mind, but the weight of experience can sometimes be a help and sometimes a hindrance.
What do you see? And he kind of directs his attention to the walls.
Well, it's colorful. It reminds me of a few places I've been, people I've met.
How much do you know of Garrig? Enigmatic force of balance.
To be truthful, Triodon, not a lot.
Don't worry. That places you in the category of nigh everyone who walks this continent. But I have seen other things beneath the waves. Is there anything I can do for you tonight, Miss Timmons?
Do you consider yourself a person of faith?
Yes, deeply so.
What put you on that path?
I suppose it called to me. I used to be more of an adventuring sort than a ruler. Did you know that?
Did I know that? I was going to say no, but maybe. Did I know that?
Give me a perception check. Let's see if you heard whispers about it.
Oh, not high. That is an 8.
No, I'd say probably not.
Oh. I kind of, I guess, naively assumed that the path to triohood was something similar to the kings and queens of my own kingdom.
The path to triohood is marked with, I suppose you might say, good intentions. It comes to the 3 most powerful figures in Justicar. I command the most brutal, raw strength when it comes to war, rallying other troops. I suppose I have a little bit of charisma, and he brushes his hand through his own hair and chuckles a little bit. The other triers are the one who is most learned and commands the most power in terms of her knowledge. And the other has control of the merchant roads. It is a man who is greatest of all the merchants of Justicar, perhaps the world.
So during your adventuring times, you made a name for yourself,
Yes,
and that led you to this position?
yes, you might say that. Although I suppose it possibly I owe more to the way I made a name for myself as an adventurer Me and several others, I led them to expeditions throughout the underwater temples.
Oh, I have only heard a rumor that such a place would exist.
Indeed. And it is beneath those waves, inside those underwater temples, where I first found Garrig, this force of balance, as we've named him.
Can I be honest with you? Like,
Certainly.
I mean no offense. I don't want to overly burden you with the perhaps personal problems of myself. I know you're a busy man.
Well, you are fortunate. Tonight you are a guest beneath my roof, and so your personal problems are my personal problems. What ails you?
I am having a bit of a crisis of self. I had a good grasp on my capabilities and my purpose, my duty. It was one that I shouldered easily because I understood its importance and I understood my role. But lately it hasn't been enough. I cannot do what I must. And the children that I was tasked with protecting are rapidly outpacing me in terms of ability. They're getting into bigger and more dangerous situations so that, a mere butler of a decade ago wouldn't have been able to dream of. My worry for them clouds my thinking, and my confusion over my own role, I worry, will lead to yet more mistakes. But
Why does that bother you?
which part?
Why does it bother you that those that you seek to protect slowly outclass you? I guarantee you that the man or the woman who takes my position from me, well, she or he has likely already been born out there somewhere in the streets of Destikar. Such is just the way of the world. Why does that bother you?
It is not the growth that bothers me. It is that I am unfortunately intimately acquainted with what failure looks like in the discharging of my duties. I was the protector for their father, his childhood companion as he grew.
That is a great burden.
Yes, it is.
I'm also familiar with the failure to live up to your duty.
Such a thing never goes away. And I think that I've made my peace with that. And I am rather excited to see what they will grow into. But it feels as if I am imbalanced. My life is... the path forward is unknown to me. And then, when we were in the mountains, I had an experience, and I don't understand what it means. I came away changed, but there's no training for what that means. I don't understand it myself. And so, I do not know the external world, and I do not know the internal world. And such chaos is uncomfortable. I need something to be pointed at, or a lighthouse, a beacon.
It's interesting to me, Miss Simmons.
Try it on.
I don't mean to apply pressure to your path, but it's an odd thing to end up in a place of balance when balance is what you seek. Is it not?
It is. It is.
Are you interested in what the path of balance might look like?
I would very much like to know more.
Well, there are two options on your way forward, if that's the path you seek.
Like, I think Timmons has this very, like, contemplative look on her face. She's not particularly intelligent, but she does have a large amount of wisdom. So she's kind of cataloging all of this information and trying to anticipate what the two paths could be.
Do you want a roll to attempt to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a religion check, which I know is not a great roll for you, but let's see what you can do.
That's going to be a 4.
A 4?
Yeah.
You know, you're probably just lacking the specific information that you need to know exactly what the two paths are. You're wise, and you think you have a good grasp on what you're looking for, but it's hard to narrow what two particular paths you might be referring to because you just lack knowledge of the functions.
Well, Triodon, I'm afraid I don't know to what you are referring. All of this is so new.
Well, if you're seeking a path of balance, there are two ways to begin the process of asking for that. And you have a choice to make because both of them are in front of you. I cannot tell you what the effects will be of choosing one path or the other. The first is that you could lay your hands upon this altar and ask balance itself. Call out to him from this place of dedication and see what response he might give on how to achieve the balance that you seek. The second is that, as Garrick's chosen champion, I have a limited ability to forge a connection to him for new clerics. I cannot tell you what each of these choices might bring. You should know that it will not bind you to me in any way. I would merely be the flint and the tinder to set the spark. The choice is up to you.
I think that Timmons kind of is struggling to integrate all of the new information and kind of takes a moment, closes her eyes, and tries to turn all of that insight she normally has on the world into herself to try and kind of like process. Like, I think she didn't even realize some of the things she was feeling until she was explaining them out loud, you know. And so she's like turning in on herself to put all of those thoughts in order. And when she does open her eyes, she looks at Triodon and says, "Well, I hope that you will not be offended, but if a direct commune is available, I would prefer to try." And she wants to put her hands on the orb. Or the altar.
Okay.
I don't know if she touched the orb directly, but...
Okay. You do so. What in particular is the query that you send out to the universe?
Should have thought about that. The query that I send out is... I know that I am just a tiny, tiny piece of the universe. I think there's like that feeling of insignificance woven through her question, where it's like, I know that I'm just such a small piece of everything that's going on. Is balance possible for me? Can even such a small piece affect change in the larger world? So I guess it's a two-part question. So the first one would be, is balance even possible for me?
The response is, I am merely balance. I am also a small piece of the universe. Many things never achieve balance. That is my greatest failure. And yet, that is where balance is found.
Oh, that's such a good answer. I think Timmons skips the next question. Like, she was going to be like, oh, can I affect change? All of that kind of stuff. This answer so immediately resonates with where Timmons is in her own head right now. She's like, what must I do?
You watch as the panels in the room turn into a light show of just and Triodon watches, not knowing the internal struggle that you're going through, as the orb just twists and turns and rages with all of these colors. And the response you get is, follow the light.
I want to do that. I want to do that. Aaron wants to do that. I want to do the mental equivalent of throwing the doors open. Like some sort of radical acceptance BS, you know what I mean? Like just a no hesitation, nothing held back, basically. Like full acceptance.
So, 1, at this point you may take the level, if you haven't yet.
I'm excited.
2, the final response that you get is, remember, there are moments when even the light shall become too bright. To maintain balance, even the light must rest, and there you will find darkness.
If does she have time for like a final kind of message towards like Garrick?
You don't know, but you can certainly try and see if you get a sense for whether or not the entity receives it.
I think that like it's not even so much words, it's just a complete like how do you put that into words? Like her heart and her mind and her soul, whatever it is, it's just so completely full of like gratitude in this moment. I think there's like this desperate attempt to try to make Garrig or whoever's on the other side understand that gratitude. So she's just trying to like push that gratitude through whatever this kind of commune is.
So I want you to make a note.
Okay.
Because of the way that you chose to take the level of the two paths that were in front of you, you receive a one-time boon from this commune. It's going to be slightly complicated, so make sure you make a note of it. But basically, the boon is, as a reaction, one time only. So not like per battle, not per short rest, not per long rest. This is like
Right.
never recovers. You may do this one time. You may switch the percentage health of one of your allies and one of your enemies. And it is called Restore Balance. So it allows you to take a point where one of your enemies is strong and one of your allies is weak, and you literally flip it.
Heck yes. Heck yes. I have a massive red like note card now that just says that. Yeah. And then does the light like fade back away? Like, is there like a visual stimulus that this is over?
Do you remember a long time ago a scene that I described for Nezra?
Yes.
The light fades from the room, and now that light is within you.
Yes. That is so dope. That is so good. I think like as she kind of comes back into her senses after having finished this, she just has like one hand over her chest as she's like focused still a little bit inward on the light that is now within. And she turns towards Trier Dawn. What is his like reaction to what's going on?
He was watching the lights, and as the lights stopped, he kind of turned to look at you. You don't know why, but he's just kind of like looking you over. Mostly watching your expression.
Trier Dawn, I think that I owe you a debt of gratitude. Thank you.
Do you take your leave?
Yes.
As you have your hand on the doorknob, shoes are back on, you're like just ready to leave. He says, Timmons.
Trier Dawn.
If two countries go to war with one, how do you restore balance?
A second country joins the fight on the other side.
That was my assessment too. Have a good night.
You as well. Oh no, because Timmons would have never thought of that before. Oh no. Oh, it's so good. I think Timmons, having gone through this, very literal religious experience, is going to go like, I don't know if she has like a personal room in this hall or if they're like bunked up together. Can she find
Yeah, you have your own room.
Okay, sweet. She's gonna go there and she's going to kind of assimilate this in the way that she was always taught, which is like a very physical kind of reaction. So she's going to first write a letter in the book that she has to a person who can't read it. She's going to write a letter about what happened. Then she's going to go through the most intense like kata that she knows from her monk training and use it with every time she's doing it, she's connecting all of those movements to her internal like architecture to provide different, you know what I mean? Like it was a physical discipline before, and now she's linking that inwards to her new understanding of what's going on and kind of processing it that way.
So here's what I'll say. By the time you come to the end of this exhausting kata, you don't feel fresh, but you don't feel exhausted as you expected to. You feel, in a word, balanced.
Oh, this is so good. This is so good. Can I do one more thing?
Sure.
So I've taken that level now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that as she finishes the kata, she comes to that place of balance. She extends her hand out in front of her, and she's thinking about that light that she can feel inside of her soul, basically. And as she looks down, this mode of light begins to appear in her palm, and it looks like that prismatic kind of colored, like almost like the aurora that's in the back of Kira's thing, but multicolored. And she does the light cantrip basically in her hand, but it's the first time that she's ever used magic.
Excellent.
Yeah. This is so sick. Zach, you're a genius.
Unless there is anything else, am going to call for the others to return.
Yes.
Yes, everyone assembled. Indeed. Arya, are you also back? Everyone can guess what Ari's doing.
Who's your favorite possum?
Excellent. Well, any sort of final upkeep that anyone would like to do, make note of before they go to bed?
Nope, just the message that I sent you on Discord.
Nope.
All right. You all awake the next morning to break your fast together. So assume that you've all kind of slowly filtered into the dining room, and it's just you all right now. Chiradan has yet to arrive. Are there any discussions you want to have amongst each other?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
How did the activities go last night?
Abrea looks towards Shay.
Shay is sleepily attempting to braid his hair, and he's not doing a good job of it because he's half asleep still.
Would you like some help with that, Shay?
I got it. It's fine.
All right.
Well, I thought it went fine. It was a fun time. I mean, there was some issues between Shay and Shia, but I feel like everything got worked out at the end.
So they're in the city. Okay, yeah. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah, they're in the end.
They're going to the underwater temples.
Mm-hmm. There's the underwater temple close by.
Not the popular one. The other one. You know, if they get eaten by a shark, I warned them.
Your mother know about this?
Mama's sleeping. I'll tell her it when I see her.
Yeah, well,
Are we prepared for meeting the other triers today?
I am.
And what comes from that?
That remains to be seen, I imagine.
I thought we were doing that to confirm our alliance, the North and South Alliance, right? That was why we were meeting them. Because he's only like one of the three.
Mm.
I do hope that you will temper your expectations a bit.
Me? Or so? Oh, who?
Generally speaking, no, Master. Okay.
Something that concerns you, Timmons.
I'm merely thinking of the size and scope of a continent where speed and urgency may take us. I think that it would be unwise to consider an ally a solution.
Solution for our immediate problem.
Fair enough. I do hope that you will get what you seek, Mr. Bishop.
We shall see.
I know that Dai's not here, but I'm going to do a quick look over each of the family members first, and then Jethrin, and then Shay, and then Shay's mom is, if she comes in, I want to check her over. But I want to do a real quick scan of how is everybody on a very real level and also just on a psychological level, because we've had a lot going.
Oh. What would that
Roll
be?
for that? I don't know.
Do you want to insight that, or?
I mean, is anyone actively trying to hide their particular emotions or anything?
Yeah.
Not particularly.
I feel like Abrea is normally, their heart is normally on their sleeves on most occasions.
Yes, okay.
Kashad is always hiding, let's be honest.
I am hiding. I am stoic. That's a different.
What is your passive insight, Timmons?
19.
Okay. So the only person you can't really read is Shay's mom. What you do notice is that while she seemed to be a bit ground down the previous day after everything that had happened, you sense renewed energy within her. And she seems to be putting forth a very proper front, for lack of a better term. You can't tell if there's anything bubbling beneath the surface or not.
That's fair.
I woke up relatively early, and my proper attire, I'm wearing my proper attire, and it is very well kept.
You're wearing business meeting attire.
Well, for a paladin representing House Chiron, yes. And I have I'm looking very sharp, and I have a contented and expectant and happy look on my face. There is also and Timmons would pick up on this, there is background concern and also just an impatience.
I'm casting mage armor on myself.
I think interesting enough, Abrea is a little bit different. And the only reason why it feels a little different is normally when they eat, it's just because you have a 19 insight. Others probably don't notice. When they eat, they'll grub down on food and look at everyone else as it's like a group-based activities. So it kind of like is a additional aspect of feeling connected with everyone else. But in this circumstance where they're eating, they're looking down at the table, and while they're eating is almost like subconscious, like they're in thought while they're eating. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
So everyone is doing it. Kashad seems more alien than normal. It's everybody's doing this. I want to say something. I want to be special.
I know that. Well, you all know why. Well, I think most folks know why Albreas is self-taught. Not in character, but out of character at least.
Anything you want to need before we begin?
Sorry, say that one more time.
Well, I think that all of my
before we start?
meds. Timmons is going to take a moment to make sure that No Name Yet and Berries are both tended to with some food. Like targeting them to make sure that they get their stuff. And like as she passes by Shay, puts a hand on Shay's shoulder for a moment and kind of like just gives it a light squeeze. When she gets to Jethrin, she's going to stop for just a moment to look at him and say, if you don't mind me asking, like just kind of in a very low voice, if you don't mind me asking, what is it that you're waiting for?
Well, we're about to embark on something very interesting. I'm eager to get going.
And no doubt eager to see someone again.
Well, perhaps.
The braid suits you. I like it.
Thank you.
And then or has Triodon arrived? Not yet.
Just
the mom
not yet.
is the other person?
Momentarily, yes, just the mom.
Okay. For the mom, like I'm gonna give her a fairly wide berth, but I will sort of do the normal butler duties and check in on her. It's interesting because I would say like most of the times Timmons is very like, I'm a butler, this is my job, and today is very much like I'm checking in on my people. Less of like following her job aspect and more of just like following where like her relationships and connections are.
That is fair.
No, to answer your earlier question, Master Kashad, I don't believe I'm in need of anything before these meetings.
Wanted to make sure to stay on your best behaviors, everyone.
The Trier arrived shortly after that.
Good morning, Tridon.
Good morning, Miss Timmons.
It's good to
I
see you
will
again.
greet them respectfully.
Yes, good to see all of the rest of you as well. I trust you slept okay?
Very well, thank you.
Thank you.
There's a bit of a smile on Timmons' face as she gives like a full nod. It's like, yes, I did. Thank you.
Good. Trier Delilah can be a bit of a ice queen, so prepare yourselves for that.
Oh. Oh, that's no worries. We have a cousin like that.
You do?
Robin.
Ah, she's also a mage that specializes in the cold?
Oh.
Jethrin does that in character.
Not really.
And it goes back to eating. Completely right over there.
Triodon is like, I'm just teasing you. He'll ruffle your hair a little bit when he goes by, if you allow him to.
Oh. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, I thought we could all use a bit of a home field advantage, and I know that this isn't necessarily your home, but they'll be coming to us this morning shortly after breakfast. So make sure to eat up.
Thank you.
Do you have any recommendations for the course of the meeting, Triodon?
And handling an ice cream because I still haven't got through with my cousin. So if you have any pointers, I would definitely appreciate it.
Wait, did you say you'd like some ice cream?
No.
I could probably arrange for that.
Ice queen. So pointers.
I'm just messing with you.
Yeah,
I'm just messing with you.
He's good.
Yes, well, I guess I don't so much have any pointers, but if you figure it out, let me know. The upside is we have a triumvirate. You already have me sold. Either you or your king needs to sell one of the other two. You don't necessarily need to win them both over, although, of course, it would be better if we can win them both over so as not to cause any potential rifts within individual relationships, even if our two countries find a way to come together. You understand it could be complicated for one person to feel sort of overruled. But if it comes to it, something we obviously need to deal with from time to time, working as a triumvirate, I will make sure to sort it out if the need arises.
I would like to ask Triodon a question.
Yes, Miss Simmons.
I was just curious, when you have two of your triumvirate who want something and one who does not, how do you find balance?
Indeed. It can be quite difficult. There are many matters the country involves itself in. I do my best to ensure, as a third vote, that, well, to put it politely, you need to make sure that one person does not lose too often. If one person feels like they're always the one being outvoted and overruled, that's where bad seeds tend to take root.
You wouldn't happen to have the latest score, would you?
I suppose I tend to keep myself up to date on such matters. We tend to work pretty fairly with each other. I just know that such issues can arise through personal experience. You see, well, the previous trier of merchants did not get along so well with Miss Delilah.
I see. So if you didn't want to anger a specific person, you would maybe want to not anger her first.
She's a quite powerful wizard. I can deal with them if the need arises, but as a personal rule, I tend to avoid making them angry where I can. But I think I gather what you mean, and I will confess she tends to take things a little bit more personally.
Thank you
But-
for your candor.
But she's not unreasonable, and I have already done you all a favor of planting a seed within our agreement that will help to win her over.
I see what you did there. You made a joke about me making trees.
Yes, exactly.
I got it this time. I got it. Okay.
But also recognizing my country for access to the Isle is surely to please the nation's top wizard, as I'm sure you're already aware.
That was my first thought.
I'm not saying I- Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sure things will work themselves out. They all seem to be quite reasonable, and our opponents are dangerous to all of us.
Indeed.
Eat.
Yeah, they get back to eating, waiting for the others to appear.
So you all finish your breakfast and casually chat amongst each other for about 15 minutes when the others arrive. And in to the room walks a woman out in front who's flanked by two other mages. You gather she pretty quickly, just based on context clues and her expression, that this is the aforementioned Ice Queen, Trier Delilah. After that, you see a man walks in. And could I get perception checks at disadvantage from everyone?
Oh, this way.
Sure.
Advantage. Why? Why?
This is a grand total of 6.
I wrote the same number both times, so 16.
I also got a 6.
I had
I
a
got a
16.
10.
I'm better than Timmons. Timmons been fired.
So it's just a base roll for me. Yep, 18.
Not only do I know where you
16 to
sleep,
10.
I have access to every room in this house. Let's go.
Read your mind.
Sorry, did anyone happen to get a natural 20?
What, disadvantage?
On disadvantage? Okay, fair enough. I'm just checking.
That means you would need 2 nat 20s. I'm like, holy crap, that
Happens.
Yeah, I guess.
Yes, well, it can happen because I just rolled 2 natural 20 stealth checks, which is what we were going against.
Going to be assassinated.
No. But the other trier walks in. You can see that he's wearing a magical item that you gather is probably fairly expensive. His leather armor seems to reflect and blend in with the areas as he walks by. So it's pretty strange when he's walking by multiple different colors with the different art and different things that are around the room, because you see those colors kind of flash across the armor as he walks by. And they both take a seat at the table. And they patiently sit and they wait.
Do we know the man's name?
I would assume if we didn't do it in session that you would have gotten their names at some point. His name is Trier Goro.
Okay.
Does he have 4 arms?
He does not. Goro, not Grievous.
We really go Goro for Mortal Kombat.
Morning.
Everyone kind of good morning, nod of acknowledgement, including from the other two mages that flanked the woman.
We thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today.
Yes, and the same to you.
Right, well, I do enjoy the opportunities for small talk. However, I have the feeling that neither of you are very big in the pleasantries of court. I believe you all have been brought up to speed with our request.
Indeed. Although some of the pieces of why were missing.
I'm sure you can understand why two of the other powers on the continent teaming up would be disastrous for you as well as us.
Maybe.
Are you able to understand that the powers that be have previously maintained a sort of equilibrium? We've managed to keep peace by guaranteeing that we were all somewhat balanced with each other. However, that balance is being disrupted. That will inevitably cause harm to your people. I'm sure you've noticed lack of trade recently.
Goro speaks up and he says, that has been rather annoying. And then Lady Delilah speaks up and she says, well, yes, I suppose, but it remains to be seen that we're really in any sort of danger. I mean, it would certainly be difficult to muster enough shit to come for Justicar directly. No one's passing through the arms.
I would not be so sure. Any protection that can be created can be destroyed or bypassed.
There's a huge mountain along with a crevice that no one can scale in between our city and the rest of the country. If someone's coming here, they're coming by ship.
Because someone has not done it yet does not mean it cannot be done.
With an army, it cannot be done.
I may, Triers, from the military standpoint, if access by Telonia and Foodalonia were acquired of our nation's resources, that would undoubtedly include the Isle and its ability to provide enchantments. Telonia itself, as we have seen by some of your own acquisitions from them, is able to already construct very impressive arcane machinery. One might only wonder what would be accomplished if the Isle were to fall under their purview.
So I suppose I have two questions. The first is, what do you mean the things we've acquired from Telonia? And secondly, do you have reason to believe that an invasion of your borders are imminent? Because my understanding is that currently some of your forces just remain under siege in enemy territory, which I will confess seems very different to me than a concern that your country is going to be occupied.
Force of 15,000 is not commonly used to obtain a single castle. It is a bit of an overkill to marshal that many people, that much food, to risk that many lives for a single place.
I suppose that depends who is in the place.
A player question here, because I don't want to have, if I am misunderstanding, then I don't want to have spoken out of turn. We were told that they acquired this machinery to 3D print from Telonia, or
Oh, it was
was that
Frutilonia.
above the table?
It was Frutilonia, I believe.
They get their wood from Frutilonia.
So you all, I believe, created and forged an assumption within yourselves that I allowed you to run with, that the machinery came from Frutilonia, came from Telonia. I'm really mad at myself over my naming conventions right now. Came from Telonia. I let you run with that assumption and did not correct you because you did not ask about it. It was a reasonable assumption, but no one has ever claimed to you that that's where it came from.
Okay. Then Jethro would have said what he said, yeah. It is only an assumption on my part after seeing the fantastic arcane machinery that you have. However, knowing what I've heard from our reports from our own family about the things that Telonia can produce, it was a logical leap on my part. Perhaps incorrect.
Karagoro actually speaks up and he says, well, I would caution you not to go revealing this to everyone, but I'm willing to tell you now while we're in the midst of these negotiations. And he's got these like a stack of coins that he's kind of passing back and forth between his hands, just like that. They come from the temples.
Fascinating.
That's why we cannot produce or acquire more of them. We would have to find them.
My point still stands.
Your point being, were they to...
Yes, my point being, were they to seize control of our kingdom, their capabilities would increase dramatically, and it would stand to reason that their desire for expansion would not stop there.
Delilah begins to speak again, and she says, so, your expert military opinion is that they intend to invade your country and occupy it?
I would say it is more than opinion. There have been movements of other forces near and around the kingdom. It would all have to be a very interesting convenience for it to all be happening coincidentally at the same time.
I see. You don't think that perhaps they've just marshaled enough forces to ensure that they trap your would-be king?
It would be interesting for them to manage to do so at just the exact moment that our would-be king's ability to avoid such an ambush would just so happen to depart. I am not someone who believes that things happen at random.
I see.
The potential for alliances between a northern kingdom and a southern kingdom such as yours, with the shared resources and knowledge that we would then have at our disposal together, would perhaps be something unparalleled and allow for a great strengthening of both of our nations.
Goro speaks up again and he says, would you be perhaps willing to give us first right of refusal when it came to goods as far as a trading partner? Were we to enter into this
under team, would that be under the permissions that I was given for negotiations? I don't know exactly how much authority I was given for this.
You know, I'd say you don't really know. Your cousin was rather vague, if I recall. It sounded, the essence I believe it sounded to you was, you know, when the commander says to one of his lieutenants, get it done, it kind of had that vibe to it. And you don't know, there's probably a limit to what you're allowed to do, but you don't know where it is or what it includes. He would probably, you would guess, he would probably just not want you to give up too much overall, right? But there's a balance, right? Like, is giving them the first right of refusal too far? Because you could go further. You could guarantee all trade only gets done with them, right? And if that's the case, that would probably be going too far. But, you know, offering them a contract of you get first choice, is that too far? I mean, I don't know. You just gotta play this one a little fast and loose, I think. Whatever you think Kashad would be feeling.
We can give you first right of refusal on half of our exported materials and the opportunity to look over any interesting or unique magical items that we no longer desire or see no immediate use for.
Okay, that's interesting. Half of all exported goods of all types, or would you set it within a few categories of your exports?
We can discuss exactly which types, but I see no reason to limit potential allies and their abilities. I'm sure you can understand, however, there are some things that we will need to keep for ourselves.
Sure. Goro continues speaking, and he's like, I imagine that if we go to war, it would be the same for us, so fair is fair on that, right, I suppose?
That we can agree.
Just one question. Did you still want me to enhance your forest today? Because I think you said today you wanted me to make your forest better.
Triodon replies, because I assume that's who you're talking to, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, yes, we could do that before we leave. I do believe that the plan was to attend a final meeting with your king to solidify all of the details, right?
That is true.
So that's we do that before I do the forest or after? I'm sorry, I may have misunderstood.
Meet with the king first.
Okay. Gotcha.
Now Lady Delilah speaks up and she says, I do not know how protective your people tend to be of their libraries. Is there any way you could perhaps find a scholar to work as an intermediary and be the arbiter of what materials my scholars may or may not have access to, such that we may peruse some of your libraries? Would you be open to that?
I can think of a few people who may be interested in such a role. I believe the open sharing of information will be able to benefit us all, especially if there are more unique items in these lost places.
Yes. There is. We actually have some formulas that we can't quite recreate here, and I do confess that your isle would be indispensable in attempting to create those items.
I would also imagine that these temples of yours, if more joint investigations at some point perhaps were put into that, I mean, that those machines alone, what else could be down there?
Certainly a lot. We've led an expedition to go through the main temple several times, several people. Many things have been found, but yes, there certainly are many other temples that dot the area. It would be intriguing to find some people. I'd like to attend one of them myself someday. Lady Delilah is kind of speaking. She's like, but for now, it sounds like we're going to take the field. I can't think of any reason to oppose. And then Trier Goro speaks up, and he says, yes, I'm certainly looking forward to seeing the Avatar of War take the field. After all, with him on our side, what is there to worry about? And then Triodon kind of looks at him and he's like, now, Goro, don't be overconfident. We still have planning that needs to be done. He's like, yes, of course. You gather he's a little bit more laid back and is confident in the ensuing war. And with that, you do have 3 votes of the council with access to your libraries, with the return for allowing some of your people to access theirs, providing access to the Isle so that they might try to recreate some magical items and push their smiths further, their smiths and enchanters further, and the first right of refusal to half of your exported goods, as well as some magical goods that the country no longer has need for. With that, you have all 3 votes. The only thing you need to do is bring them to the king to finalize the deal.
I have a question, and I don't know when's the appropriate point to insert this in here, because I don't want to stop something that's already finished. So if this is already done, then maybe I'll just talk to Kashad individually about the questions I have. But if we're still in the room, I might bring it to the room.
I think we're all still in the room at the moment. You could wait, but I think the plan was sort of, if I understand the plan, it was to sort of get everybody moving towards going to meet with the king to finalize and ink the deal on the alliance between the North and the South.
Mm-hmm. Would it be inappropriate if I approached the Triers individually? Would their bodyguards allow me to get close enough? Let's start with the very physical. If I move forward, would bodyguards stop me?
So Triardon does not seem to have any bodyguards with him. At the moment, the only person you see with quote-unquote bodyguards is the 2 other mages, one male and one female, who's accompanying Lady Delilah.
I would like to talk very, very quickly with was it Gror? Trier Gror? Goro. I had it backwards. Trier Goro and Trier Delilah. My question for Trier Goro is, I do apologize if I am being a bit direct, but I was wondering if we would also be granted a right of first refusal for the goods that you are creating, particularly with the Isle.
He thinks about it for a moment and he says, well, that's really more Lady Delilah's wheelhouse. Although I suspect that we'll want most of the things that we create, I seriously doubt she would be against offering you first right of refusal on the things that we might decide to sell.
And in terms of just general trade, might we see a more concrete alliance between our two countries?
Well, you are speaking to the master merchant, as it were. I suppose that I could be convinced to take less profits from my allies when it comes to trading goods to be used for a war which we both fight. But beyond that, I think my hands are tied.
I imagine that what less profits you take, you will find matched from trade that comes from Darkstar, so that is something to consider.
I shall take account on that.
Excellent. I will switch over to Trier Delilah really quick to ask a similar question. So I'm going to ask the same question first. Is like the first refusal for the goods created with the Isle?
She effectively gives you a yes, sure, whatever. Like one of those, that's not that important to me. I don't care.
Also, will you be setting up a scholar within your own country that will similarly license the use of your libraries for scholars within our nation?
Oh. I didn't gather that any of you all were really all that interested in that. But
I can think of one individual in particular that would likely be very interested.
Sure. I think that could be arranged.
Excellent. Sounds like
I'll need 1 week to select the proper candidate and explain their task and duties to them.
Indeed. Good. Nice reciprocal relationship.
If I may, I have saying sort of everyone at the table, the triers, slight business which is unrelated to the war, perhaps. I'm still not entirely sure myself. However, there is. I have been given a slight bit of a holy command, as it were, to inform those that are able and are followers of Nasvite of more cleric-based or paladin-based aligned people to meet at the Temple of Nasvite in, I don't know how long is left.
By my count, it's 2 weeks exactly.
In 2 weeks, it might be easier if you are aware of such people. If you would pass that on for me, I would be most grateful.
Certainly, although might be a bit awkward to ask our clerics to travel such distance to a country embroiled in war. But I'll pass along the message. We'll see how things turn out.
Oh, and they just remembered about the Trier's request for good berries. He said, "Oh, I forgot you wanted to know about this," and so they'll cast a level 1 spell to generate good berries. It says, "These are the berries that will keep your men full for the entire day. They give you nourishment and make you feel better." And
but we've just ate breakfast.
Oh, for the future, you were saying how this would help for your battalion. So you just give them this when they're out on the field, and they're good to go.
Interesting.
They'll be good to go for a full day.
Well, it's a powerful spell. There are clerics that can create food and water, but this looks rather simple. Not in a bad way.
Okay. Glad I could help.
Yes, thank you. He kind of like pockets them into a little satchel for the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, they do only last a day. But that's okay.
Anything else? I'll be ready to travel.
I'm good.
All right. You all get ready to leave?
Yeah.
Okay. As you come out, you see 10 fighters that all fall into step behind Triardon. There are 10 mages that all fall into step behind Trier Delilah. And that you see originally 8 people carrying longbows and daggers that are arranged that fall into step behind Trier Goro as you all depart. And then 2 people come from invisibility, and you see them fall into step behind the other 8, such that all 3 of them are arranged with 10 people. Trier Don slows down a little bit, and he says, don't worry about it. It's just customary to go with some guards when attending a foreign power. It's as much a show of good faith as it is deterrence.
I was not offended when they were there when we were talking. I'm not offended now.
Indeed. So they bring you to a tower where there is like a large version of a teleportation circle, basically. It's like a 30-foot radius. So set into the floor of this tower is like a very large teleportation circle. And you can see there are that all of the 10 mages that are with you kind of fall into different nodes on this large circle around the room and wait for you all to kind of filter inside.
Yep, a Brea's on the back of no name yet.
Okay. Everyone filters in.
Ask about the dinosaur. Yes.
No one pays it any mind for the moment because it looks like it's on your guys' side and seems very tame aside from eating a giant plate of meat at breakfast.
No.
All right.
To no basis.
You all activate the teleportation array?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As you do so, you arrive in a center courtyard at the castle that is your destination. It has previously been scryed upon by the mages who are casting this spell with some help from the information being transferred along and descriptions of the place. People that they could scry on that they used to get an image of the area that you're traveling to, thus making teleportation easier. And you see your cousin, Prince Murdoch, in the courtyard, who is currently yelling orders at different groups of men that are hustling around the area. And he turns to Kurt, who is also there, and hastily says a few words to him. And then he walks over to them. He walks over to you guys and says, I am so sorry, cousins.
Or
What's going on?
Well, I'm afraid you've just been caught in the net. This morning, they raised an anti-magic dome around this area. There's no teleporting, there's no messages out. And that is where we're going to end tonight's episode.
No.
Well
I refuse. I refuse. You can't kick me off this. I refuse.
I refuse. I refuse to end this. Okay, well. So in the immortal words of Whoopi Goldberg, we in danger. So make sure to stay tuned for the next episode to see how we get out of this madness. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Again, if you like what you see here, make sure to join the Discord. You should see a description section below. And I cannot wait for next week's episode because I have no idea what's going to happen. But until then, farewell for now.